Unlocking your gut intuition with Eric Samdahl. Well, welcome to Build It Bootcamp. Hello, I'm your host, LJ Haywood. This is a podcast for aspiring entrepreneurs that are frustrated with their W-2 jobs. You can join me and learn how to build and scale your own business. Now, during each episode, I introduce a topic that relates to business or entrepreneurship. And whether or not it's myself or a very special guest, today we have Eric. The information will be valuable in building and scaling your own business. We'll get started right after this. Unlocking your gut intuition with Eric Samdahl. How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Glad to be here. Super excited to have a little chat this morning and share some thoughts, ideas, and what's going on.
So, well, that was the thing that we were just talking about. Like I come in, like we're talking about hashtags and leveraging some of that stuff. And I'm like, well, we can kind of talk about this stuff during the show too. But what I wanted to know is a little bit about your background. I want to give you a quality introduction. So today we're talking about unlocking your gut intuition. You are a thought leader, business strategist, international speaker on topics of harnessing your intuition. I really love that because sometimes I feel like, and maybe you're the guy that's to speak to about this. A lot of people aren't really going with their gut on certain things. Like they get that gut feeling and they're like, what is that that's preventing people from doing that?
You know, a lot of it is just being able to trust it. And what I've seen with a lot of people, you know, especially with entrepreneurs, a lot of people that I work with is there's so much data out there and it's so easy just to dive into the data and look for clues in data. And really the answer lies within you. And it's really
great point.
It's easy to get into that place if you just allow yourself to do it.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of times people spend so much time on the external stuff, right? They're trying to fix those things. But what I'm getting from what you just said, first thing I thought of was like, okay, there's a lot of internal work you got to deal with in order to get to what you're talking about. Is that about right?
Right. It's, you know, a lot of it is really right around just being calm with yourself and just take a minute and find that place that you can utilize, you know, that little extra space to think around things. This is the thing that I've learned for myself, you know, and I'm not going to get all, you know, some people are like, you know, you get all hocus pocus and this is all voodoo and all that kind of stuff, but it really isn't. It's really, you know, separating the thought from your reaction or your emotion and getting those two separated in order to really make great decisions. You know, your brain, your heart, and your guts are all connected. And there's a vein, the vagus vein that runs on between that stuff. And there's so much information that goes through back and forth with that.
Yeah. There's a lot of science that goes into it, right?
Absolutely. There's, and we're just now starting to kind of like figure out how we can harness that information. But there's, you know, I didn't believe it for a long time myself, but I was like, you know what, the more I started to dive into this and started to do some research around it, I'm like, holy crap, this really works. And it's really good. And what I've seen is you can make much better, faster, and greater decisions with that. And you can move forward quicker. And that's really what it's about. I mean, everybody wants to scale their business and how do I grow faster? Well, it's really around being able to grab onto that a little bit and really trust it to be able to do great things. So,
well, I want to talk about your experience as a CEO and COO and all that stuff in a second, because you've definitely helped grow businesses exponentially. But let's talk about your background. Like, where'd you grow up at, Eric?
So, spent a lot of time in Central Illinois, Bloomington. State Farm Insurance. You guys probably all know State Farm. Well, that's where it's headquarters. Lived right down the street from,
you
know, the executives there. So it was kind of fun to like hang out with those folks. But yeah, grew up in Bloomington. Spent the good part of my early adult life there. Then moved to Vail, Colorado, and hung out, skied, you know, mountain bike, all that kind of stuff as well.
Nice, so. Nice. Man, I actually went mountain. I used to go hiking. I've never been like biking though. Well, I want to start it, right? But Ella, my lady, she can't ride a bike, And so like,
Okay.
so like I was like, when we go out to like hiking, I'm like, oh, we should get like bikes and do this. And I keep forgetting that she hates. She's like, babe, I'm not gonna learn. I never learned how to ride a bike. You're never gonna get me on a freaking bike. I'm like, but
Right.
it'd be awesome. We'd be like a cute couple on bikes, you know. She's like,
Yeah.
no,
Well, you know,
keep dreaming, buddy.
you'll find a riding crew. That's what happens. You know, you start riding bikes, and you know, you start meeting up with people, and it's great.
So were your folks growing up, were they in businesses, like, or were they?
Yeah. So my dad, actually, it was interesting because he was a professor, businessman, but also an entrepreneur. So he kind of dabbled in both sides. He was a home builder for a long number of years as well. Kind of got out of that when we moved from Wisconsin to Illinois. But he was, you know, in the home construction business and building his own houses. And so that was kind of, you know, I kind of tell the story of like, I learned how to be an entrepreneur when I was 12 years old. I had a paper route.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, you know, paper routes, you kind of think about it back then, it's a whole different game right now. But, you know, you've got to deal with accounts receivable, accounts payable, logistics, getting the newspapers to the people. You know, you've got to create marketing if you want to grow your business. I mean, when I had my paper route, I grew at 40%. New customers, you understand customer journey, you understand customer relationships, all those kinds of things in, you know, a very short period of time. But that's kind of where I cut my teeth in entrepreneurship. I was like, all right, this is really cool. I like this. And so
how was that built? Let's talk about that.